Hey guys, welcome back. As always, my name is Lazar, and today we have something a little bit different on the menu. We're gonna be talking about features, game modes in Warframe. What would get you to come back to Warframe? Or what would get you to play even more of Warframe? Is that something you're looking for? Now, in the past, we already talked about the elephant in the room, right? Raids. Raids used to be a thing in Warframe, they're not anymore. I would love to see them come back, especially with the new war, with the sentient tileset. Oh man, an attack on the sentient planet, that would be absolutely insane. Maybe we would like the Lotus as a final boss. So we're not gonna spend more time on that one. Again, we have a separate video if you wanna see that one, link in the cards right now. I still feel like a lot of players in Warframe, a lot of veterans are still looking for an endgame. You know the story, right? Dude, I have so much power. I accumulated these Warframes, these weapons, sentinels, the mods. I maxed everything out. I'm ready to go, man. Let's have an endgame. Let's go push ourselves to the boundaries and to the limits and do things. And unfortunately, there's no outlet for all that built-up power, if you know what I mean. Now, it is true, some players find some release in Steel Path. Steel Path is more of a new thing in Warframe. You go over here to your star chart, and you have a little toggle from normal to Steel Path. Some players love doing this. Now, it's not really a form of endgame in the sense that Steel Path in and of itself is not really all that difficult. Same enemies, same tilesets, same old tricks. But what some players choose to do is to do Steel Path endurance runs. Now, what endurance runs means that you're going to be staying in that type of mission in an endless mission, okay, for example a defense or a survival, a long period of time, and you're going to come across really high level enemies. Now, higher level enemies means more health, more armor, more of that good stuff, but same tricks as before. You're looking at the same old tile sets, or in some of the newer cases, like for example Gad City, more newer tile sets, and the same old tricks. So it can grind a person down really quickly. It can get, simply put, boring. And a whole lot of players don't really do that. There are some that like to do like level 3000, 5000 plus to test their metal. Hats off to that, but honestly, to me, it's a bit boring, and I find it hard to encourage players to do that when I know that it might basically burn themselves out. So do bear that one in mind. What would you do if Steel Path was the kind of endgame you're looking for? Let's say that raids don't work for Warframe because of how Warframe is as a game. Perhaps something along the lines of Steel Path would work. A more mature Steel Path would probably have something like different enemies, yes? Let's say you can't use different tilesets. That would be too much of an investment. Let's use the same tilesets, but let's bring in new, more powerful enemies which have, yes, key mechanics, my friends. And let's stop this hand holding. It starts with level 100. It starts from level 1000 or something of the sort. Or it doesn't even need to be level 1000. If you're looking at brand new enemies, right? Let's say a level 50 swashbuckler would be like 100 times more powerful than level 50 corrupted heavy goon, right? You don't need to get to this crazy amounts of level and all this math going on. You can make legitimate difficulty in Warframe. And legitimate difficulty, to me, as a simple player, is not bullet sponge enemies. That to me is not legitimate difficulty. To me, legitimate difficulty is cool mechanics and interesting opponents that you need to learn their tactics, learn what they can do, overcome and defeat them. That to me is legitimate difficulty. And I think there's a lot of room to expand in something like a Steel Path for Warframe. But let's talk about other features that the developer did implement in the hope that it would keep players interested. Do you guys remember Elite Sanctuary Onslaught? Of course you do. Do you play Elite Sanctuary Onslaught? Of course you do, but do you play it for outside of leveling weapons? Now this thing has become the mecca for leveling your stuff. Get yourself a booster, get yourself a Kavat. You can level something to 30 like a primary, a secondary, or a melee in like even a single wave. And that's absolutely insane. Now initially, I loved Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, even though it came out so buggy. Do you guys remember? Hands up if you remember how buggy this thing was. It was borderline unplayable. You would get the screen white out, there were a million bugs, you wouldn't get the portal. It was terrible. But you had a reason to play. Back then, to Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, the developer introduced two weapons that were only available initially in the closed beta, if I remember right. Well, we're talking about the Leto and the Bratton Vandal. Now, granted, they're not uber fantastic weapons, but they were cool. They meant something once upon a time. They don't mean much now, but they did then, so the incentive to farm was pretty high. And there was one actual new thing for Warframe, which I thought was super cool and a little bit gimmicky, a lot gimmicky, fine. Peculiar Bloom. We have Peculiar Bloom and Peculiar Blossom or something of the sort. Initially, it was only Peculiar Bloom. Basically, when you get headshots, flowers sprout out of their heads. It's sick, man. It's insane. I love that. You gotta do that on Orvelis with the orb mummies. You know the guy, the orb mom that's like chilling on the building? Try that with that. They make like a big head. It's really fun to do. Again, not an end game per se, but something interesting. The reason why, to me, Elite Sanctuary Onslaught only represents a way to level weapons nowadays is because I don't have any incentive to get anything from it. Do you guys feel the same way? Essentially, if Digital Extremes would have rotated the rewards you're currently getting in Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, keep on adding new stuff, which is interesting and cool, and Warf actually going out of my way and trying out Elite Sanctuary Onslaught and, I don't know, staying 20 waves, 30 waves, something like that, then definitely I think this one would have worked a little bit better. Because again, from week to week, you're getting brand new rotations, you're starting on brand new missions, same old tile sets, yes, but they mixed up a little bit. They are mixed up, which kind of should, at the very least, cut a little bit on the boredom and offer you that dynamic element. Let's move on over to the Night of the Wave. Honestly, Nightwave had such a fantastic start. I love the original season of Nightwave. Do you guys remember the Wolf? When he was actually hard, the Wolf would have showed up, you would have done. If that was a higher level mission, you would have been done. The Wolf would have just killed everybody. Everybody was running away from the Wolf. We didn't know what to do. It was awesome. It created that sense of dread that the Stalker keeps failing to create. Does that make any sense? You were excited also because if you got to kill the Wolf, Wolf Sledge parts. Oh man, Wolf Sledge parts. I was so excited about the Wolf Sledge. I wanted to farm it so hard. I still have it in my foundry. I didn't even pick it up because, you know, outside of its gimmick to throw it around, it's really not super fantastic. So there's that. But that wasn't the point. The point was there was something there. There was something there to be farmed, and it was difficult. Now, of course, the Wolf was nerfed. Heavily nerfed, if I remember correctly. And I believe that Nightwave essentially suffers from the same problem as Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, the rewards. While these may be fantastic for a newer player coming into Warframe, and hats off, we need new players in Warframe, I'm all for that, they're the lifeblood of the game and all whatnot. But all of these are recycled. A poster at level 15, is this... Oh wait, I'm sorry, a glyph. A glyph at level 15? Really? Level 30 maxed out the waveform ephemera. These are cosmetics, and I'm all for offering cosmetics in high level whatever. High level grind, let's call it, yeah? High level farm. But just this? Oh, come on. I know these are subjective, being cosmetics, but just this? At level 30, that's it? Before, we used to have cool stuff at level 30, level 20 something, 15, something to look forward to. We had this before, we already know these mods. Recycled like F. Not cool with that, to be honest. All these recycled rewards. And you know what's the beauty about Nightwave? It sends you all over the system, all over the star chart, doing things that normally you wouldn't do. Because you have no reason to. Again, why would I do that? I'm maxed out on standing, I'm maxed out, I got everything, all the floofs, all the... More on floofs later. And some of these challenges can be legitimately cool and fun. For example, activate the Requiem Obelisk on Deimos. That's easy. You can do that in a couple of minutes. The loading screens take longer than that. And maybe while you're on Deimos, you're gonna spot a rare Vulpaphyla or something, or a Panzer of the something, and you're gonna do something there. I love being sent all over the system to do things that I normally don't do. Even K-Drive can be fun, like a race or two with a couple of friends. But again, if you don't give me the incentive for the new stuff as a veteran player, fine, not as a newer player coming to Warframe, I don't get that excitement level. I don't have that incentive, sadly. Boolean Siandana. Yeah, it's cool, but I already got it. It's recycled. Now, Nightwave still is relevant simply because they took out the alerts, remember? Remember when you you had your phone, your application on, like, oh, I gotta check out, is there any Nethane alert? Oh my god, a Nethane alert, you would go on to it immediately. Cred offerings is how you get your day-to-day stuff, what I like to call day-to-day. Orokin Catalyst, Reactors, D10 Extra, you can even get a little bit Coochie. Now granted, it's still better to do Steel Path and go over to Tension and get your Kuwa like that, but there you go. And all of these recycled, the Nihilum Obelette. This is kind of cool for like 5 to 10 minutes. You can get your helmets, you can get a couple of mods, some skins. Not bad at all as a day-to-day. Is it exciting? No. How can it be exciting? How can it be exciting to get something that only is needed just to pump up the value of your weapons? Right? To get them to max and all whatnot. Or at least to me, it's not all that exciting. And I think that's the general problem in Warframe. A lot of these game modes could have been polished. A lot of these game modes could have been, in time, a form of endgame. But if you're just gonna leave them like that, then... Or even worse. Nightwave technically went backwards. Think about it. Think about how often we would get actual new seasons, yes, not recycled stuff. Because even though this one, Nora's Choice, might be a new season per se, it's recycled for the most part. And they did officially state that they're ramping down Nightwave, and for me, Nightwave was supposed to ramp up, not down. You could even introduce more Steel Path stuff. You can even introduce more high-level stuff, maybe, let's say... Eidolon hunting, even though, yes, I know, Eidolon hunting is no longer difficult. Stop yelling at me. I know, everybody goes Volt. You can go Volt, 2 volts. It's easy mode, no problem whatsoever. Arbitrations, same problem as before. So I'm left hanging, and I'm really curious on what you guys think. What kind of features would you be looking for? What kind of features would get you to play Warframe more? How does an end game look for you? Because you know what? Not everybody's looking to test their metal. Not everybody's looking for a challenge. Some people just like collecting floofs, and you know what? Hats off to them. I like collecting floof. I mean, here, see, I floofed my collecting. Here it is. I have one. You like it? I think he's cool. I call him Sober, after my friend. I even have these things, you know. These are not floofs, but... Oh, I got 2 floofs. See, he's hiding behind the things because he's scared. For some players, that's the end game. Not for me, granted, and perhaps not even for you, but some players love that. How about collecting posters? How about doing fashion frame? Fashion frame in Warframe is big. It's legitimately big. Every time I hold a fashion frame contest, I'm amazed at what people can come up with, and I'm amazed by how many contestants we get. That's awesome. I love that. So let me know in the comment section down below. How would features that get you to play Warframe would look? Do you want more metal, more steel, more path-on-path action, if you know what I mean? Do you want more of a casual collecting approach? Or do you simply not care anymore? Because I gotta be honest with you, I never thought they would do cross-save and cross-play. Let's remember for a second that cross-save and cross-play was basically one of the most requested features in Warframe. I honestly never thought they would do it. I kept encouraging it because I saw the value for me as a player, but I never thought they would do it because I didn't see the gains in it, the profit. Sorry, my friends, at the end of the day, if it doesn't make money, then it's probably not gonna happen. Now, granted, my limited vision did not encompass a Warframe mobile, so there is that to take into account. My friends, as always, my name is Lazar. I honestly hope you enjoy the content. If you do, make sure to drop a follow, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And you can also catch me on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, all the usual places. Would you like to join our Discord? You can find a link in the description down below. I'm looking forward to reading your comments, as always. But until next time, my friends, bye-bye.